Greetings once again, of course, to the excellent students in the 897 experience. This is your instructor, Dr. Larry Asplund, coming to you, well, at the beginning of Module 4. We're going to start kind of changing gears a little bit when it comes to this coming week, week 9. I'm actually moving this weekend, and so I'm recording this a little bit early. I anticipate, having my computer plugged in anyway by the end of the weekend. But, got boxes and all that sort of thing. It's all good. I've had to move so many times the last few years. It's just become, I think, too familiar because I'm not a big fan, but it's going to be good. It's going to be good. So I enjoy every opportunity to be with you and to work with you, and certainly that will be true in week 9 as well. In terms of our process, of course, we've got the two big pieces that usually are about 2/3 of the proposal. We have the summary of the literature, final documents are being completed. Don't be discouraged if you still feel like you need to do a little bit of work on that. Ultimately, it's, once we have these big pieces in place, the rest of the process will be kind of downhill. So don't be discouraged if that is true for you. We're finalizing all of that. The BTH Foundation's outline, of course, are complete for the most part, if you've had a chance to jump in and do that. And now you've been submitting your draft documents for the BTH Foundations. As soon as possible, as soon as I get them, I will call them up and do a very detailed review and communicate with you by email as to what I think will be a good idea for you to compose what will be the final version of this very important section of your proposal. So we're very much involved in that process. Module 4, then, we have some good resources for you listed. Chapter 5 in Turabian. Please remember, Turabian, the first half of Turabian is all about academic research and writing. And so we think about in terms of formatting guidelines, that's the second half of the book. So there's some very good ideas for you in the beginning. Chapter 5 this week. Cresswell, of course, is absolutely essential in terms of the various elements of, we think of it as data collection and analysis. It's that whole process of research. Sensing, because it's aimed specifically at doctor of ministry students, is always very good. So chapters 4 and 5 is recommended to you this in module 4. And then, of course, as always, you have some review documents from Dr. Flynn's PMIN 700 course, as well as a couple of very important documents, one called the research process, the other called the ministry project, both really taken out of the DMIN handbook. So in terms of module 4, there are 2 graded assignments. One is the project design discussion, and I'll unpack that a little bit here in a moment. And then the second is the student profile, which is a very, very important, I think it's a great personal reflection opportunity, as a matter of fact. It maybe benefits me and Dr. Flynn more than it does you. I think it benefits you too, to be able to take some time to say, how has the program worked for me? What's been good, what maybe hasn't been so good, etc. And how has it benefited me specifically in my ministry context, those kinds of things. It's just a template that you will download and then respond to. In terms of the week 9 assignment, this is back to the discussion forum in your group. And so here is the discussion prompt for week 9. Report how you have designed your research and how that will be reflected in the design of your project. And what led you to adopt that design? How do you think it will contribute to the overall excellence of your final dissertation? Kind of a discussion, really, of what you have been thinking about in terms of the elements, the research elements in your project. And so discuss the proposed elements of your project. The discussion of the research methodology is not going to happen till module 5. That's what module 5 is all about. And you remember, methodology is about qualitative, quantitative, and mixed methods in terms of ways, specific approaches to gathering and to analyzing data. But when it comes to project design, discuss, okay, I want to have a workshop or maybe online interviews, or I want to provide a survey, maybe a quantitative survey to get background information, you know, if you have a large enough a sample and all that sort of thing. Now, granted, as you know, you really don't know what your official project design will be until you pass through the HSR application process, because that's when you unpack all of the details, and all of the details are either approved or changed and then approved. And that's when you know what it's actually going to be. So this is a little bit anticipatory, but I think it's a good exercise for you. And I know you've already been thinking about it. So that will be the nature of your discussion in week 9. We're going to have our 4th Zoom consultation Monday night, March 6th, 8 o'clock. I'll be in my new little townhome out in the woods, you know, and I'll have my computer plugged in. And so it will be, I'll be ready, looking forward to that time together, 5 o'clock p.m. here. And by the way, usually I take part of this consultation to unpack all of the sections of the proposal, including the early introductory sections as well as the late concluding sections. I provided for that for you early just because of my observation of suggestions I was making to you with the summary of the literature section. So go back, look for the proposal structure presentation that I made for you. That's when I unpacked all of that stuff. I've already done that, so I'm not going to do it in consultation number 4. You can look at that if you haven't seen it. But we'll take some time just to discuss how you're doing so far, where are you in the process. And then I want to be very, very specific in showing you the template and showing you how to use the template, because in the end, that is what you are going to access when it comes to composing your proposal draft. So we'll take some time to look at that. And of course, we'll have opportunity for Q&A as well on Monday night. You know, just being able to gather data. If you love research, that's really an exciting part of the process, whether you use some kind of an assessment, a tool, or whatever instrument you use, and then put to work to go out and begin to consider the value of the data. You have to give attention to whether or not you have, and to what extent you have access to the participants that you want and need, etc. This part of it is, I think, just a lot of fun. So I would want you to look at it as being an exciting opportunity before you then kind of, okay, here's all the data I have now, let's begin to analyze, etc. And so we will take a look at that when we get to it. But I think it's a very, very important piece to begin to give some attention to, and that's what we're going to be doing in week 9. So once again, I'm looking forward to participating with you. I'm looking forward to being together again on Monday night, the 6th at 8 o'clock Eastern time. And so just, you know, my prayers are with you in this process. I'm here as your partner. I'm here to cheer you on whenever I can and to make sure that you succeed. So God bless everybody. Just have a great week.